Welcome on my first step ever. This is a studio, a virtual space, or even a space in your heart, in your mind, if you've been following. We uncover such exceptional and interesting journeys, the first steps of someone's dream, the passion that they have been on and have successfully achieved it. Now, anyone becomes exceptional if they do follow what they want to do and create a life that they want. It's about your journey. And that's why I'm bringing people from all sorts of walks of life who have been exceptional in their field because they have followed their heart. But more than that, they have broken things down into actionable steps. They have had the conviction to do what they have. But oh boy, is it easy? No, it's never that easy. And that's why we love to uncover the hardest step, the first step of someone's journey. So today I have a very interesting guest for a lot of listeners today who would love to listen to her journey. Please join me in welcoming Amanda Gabbard, all the way from New York City, from the US. Hi, Amanda. Welcome on my first step ever.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is fun. You have a great energy right off the bat. This is awesome.
This is really funny because I was just about to say, I love your energy. It's so infectious.
Then we're a good match.
Absolutely. Now, before we begin, I want to give a little insight about who Amanda is, but how she became who she is. That's the journey that we're going to uncover today. So, Amanda is a celebrity makeup artist, esthetician. I'm trying to get this right, and a beauty expert. Now, she is a beautiful person herself, as you can see. Based in the New York City for 2 decades, she has worked in all facets of the industry: TV, film, fashion, red carpet, Broadway, bridal, and as a host on Amazon Live, Style Code Live. Oh my God, she has been there and done that all. And we are so excited to have her here. Amanda's work has spanned the globe and has been featured in publications such as Vogue, New York Times, Brides Magazine, Huffington Post, Apple News, Glamour, Hollywood Life. Now, Amanda also specializes in personalized makeup and skincare lessons. You can also find her on online providing tutorials for skincare and cosmetics. So you do check her out on her Instagram, Amanda Gabbard. Now, I will leave all the links in the show notes. But let's get down to the person and her story today because she's here in real life. Yes, in real life. And we can ask her a lot of questions. So, Amanda, thank you once again for being on the podcast. And let me start with the very, very curious question that I always, what was the mindset of people or you while you were, growing up? What kind of people surrounded you? What sort of beliefs you had while you were growing up?
Well, I think that's obviously where it stemmed. I grew up in Kansas, in a small town, Kansas, like Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, the whole thing. And my parents were psychiatrists, and there was a foundation there called Menninger. So they worked there. And then in their free time, they were actors. And so they would do community theater and do shows in town at night. So I remember watching my mom get ready in the bathroom and putting on her makeup and the pantyhose, doing her hair. And I thought, oh, this is so great. And they would go do shows. And instead of wanting a babysitter to stay at home with me, I wanted to go, just like I said, just please sit me in the audience, sit me in the seats. And I just want to watch. And I remember just going back to the green room at where everyone gets dressed and all the sets. And I just thought it was so magical. And then as I got older, I started doing theater. I was a singer my whole life, an actor and all that good stuff. And then my grandparents taught acting. So it kind of runs in my veins, I guess. They were acting teachers and they taught at Eastern Illinois. They taught John Malkovich, the actor, and Joan Allen. So obviously before they, had come into their success. So we would hear these great stories about them. And then when they retired, they became actors. So they were in commercials. My grandmother was in Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And then she was in my best friend's wedding with Cameron Diaz and Julia Roberts.
Wow.
And we'd say, oh my God, Christmas, we'd say, tell us all about it. What is it like to step in a trailer? We heard all these great stories. And then she went to Broadway and she was in The Grapes of Wrath, which is a beautiful show. And they did Steppenwolf in Chicago. And then when they were on Broadway, they went to London with the show. They won a Tony. And so we akin to this growing up, that even though we were in a small town in Kansas, we went to New York City every single year to go see Broadway shows and stay in hotels. And I just remember thinking, of course I'm going to live here. And thank God they gave me that opportunity. I mean, we listened to records on the floor and all sorts of amazing things. So we were very much exposed to it. And I knew there's no doubt I would live in New York City And at that point, I thought, well, I'll be an actor and a singer and that type of thing. And then, so, yeah, it's just so crazy. My dad had friends who were producers in LA, and we'd go and be like, what is this? And we'd be on set. And just watching how it happened, I've always just been fascinated by it. Whether it was looking in a Vogue magazine, big, thick, glossy, old school magazine growing up, and just seeing the pictures of the beautiful people and what are they doing. And I wanted to jump into those photos. And then when I was on stage, I wanted to jump on stage. And I'm watching TV. I loved everything about it. So my parents were so supportive. They're like, do whatever you want. So they were very much always about family and about what matters most, which I still to this day think is the most important thing, surrounding yourself with people you love and trust. But they were also like, go, go get it, succeed, go fulfill your dreams. They were very much supportive. So, and then my grandparents were very much like on the same end. You're going to get rejected every day. It's a really terrible career when it's going bad. It's great when it's great. But, so you develop a real thick skin, which is nice.
Wow, Amanda. This is sheer joy to, hear that you really grew up in the space where I think you were meant to shine now that you are in. And it's amazing to see, how that you were surrounded with people who were already doing that, your grandparents, your parents, and learning a bit from here and there, having your own desires. And I think one particular thing that I found, when you were saying is that you very very focused and sure, of course this is what I'm going to be doing. I mean, there's no plan B, and you were so sure of that. Yes, of course, sometimes it's very important for the support of our family members, to kind of have that, because we rely a lot on, not sort of rely, but we trust a lot in them, so having that kind of response coming from them is so important. But there's also a very big and major role of our own convictions and our own beliefs, that this is exactly what I want to do. So before we move into how it really kind of shaped out for you, you have had your own journey, I'm extremely sure. And that was a very very true and important point that your grandmom told you, that you are going to face rejections left, right, and center. Even if you do have people in the industry, I think the one step ahead is that you have seen it. You can see it, but actually being in the shoes and feeling it is a different ball game altogether, I would say. So before we move into when you were kind of, let's say, you're in your 20s, before that, when you were in teens, you were kind of going to the New York, and having a look about the entire career, the life that you had. Did you ever in that phase, even once, felt that if, this doesn't work out, or when you saw the rejections for your near and dear ones, what were you processing in that point in time that now underpins your.
Well, that's a good question. I think I have this strange, very crazy drive in me that I just won't stop. And I'm seeking happiness and I'm seeking joy. I want to wake up in the morning and say, oh, I can't wait to do this today. I mean, obviously there's complications when it comes with different jobs and there's highs and lows, but I don't think it was a doubt in my mind that it wouldn't work. And I think what was interesting is it changed so completely going from the entertainment industry into makeup. So when I was little, I would want to spend my allowance on makeup instead of toys and dolls so much. I wanted to pretend I was a fancy lady. And my sister always jokes, she's like, God, you used to wear so much perfume and like fake pearls and be like, I'm a fancy lady today. And I just couldn't wait to wear like, yeah, I was like, I can just put red lipstick on. I'll be so cool. I always loved that. So I just, growing up, I would do the shows at the high school, middle school. Then I would go to the community theater. Then I would go outside. It just, no one was pushing me saying, you better do this. It's just what I wanted. And I thought, I'm going to go get a BFA and I'm going to go to New York. And after a while, though, so much rejection does build character. And it's a good life lesson. If everyone tells you yes, it's kind of like, I guess I don't have to work hard. But when they say pounding the pavement, it's real. So you're waiting in line at 5 a.m. in the cold outside a building. You have all your dance clothes and your music book. We didn't have phones then, so it was like a big phone book that you would carry and find your music. And so you'd get in. Hopefully they'd say yes to come to the callback. Oftentimes they say, oh, thank you so much. No. And you go about your day. So you have lots of other jobs, right? So there's temp jobs, you wait tables, you nanny. I would always do a ton of different jobs, but I would always go to makeup because that was my other love and passion. And I felt so happy doing it. So after a while, it was great. Like my grandparents said, when the highs are high, it's great. You book a job, great. 6 weeks later, well, where's my next paycheck? So I'm like the little engine that could. I thought, okay, I can do this, but it lost its luster in a way. So I thought, I'm a little bit more excited when I get called, do you mind doing makeup for the show? Do you think you could do makeup for this short film? I thought, yeah. I got more excited to do that. So I'd pack up my kit.
Lovely.
And it wasn't a great kit. It was just a little suitcase, and I just loved going. So when I was the actress in the chair, I would be in the hair and makeup room being like, what? Oh my God, what are you using? And they say, why are you so interested? I'm like, but what concealer is that? Well, what lipstick do you like? It just excited me. Like even now I'm sweating thinking about like, I love it. It brings me such joy. So I taught myself. And then when I decided to completely switch over, I learned from everyone I could. There was no YouTube. So I would read everything I could, watch other people. And still to this day, I've been doing it 20 years. I want to learn from people younger than me, people older than me, my same age. You can always learn. And there's so much information. It's like at night, I'm laying in bed looking at the makeup tutorials like, woo, maybe I need that. Like it's not, I wouldn't say it's a good idea to rest on your laurels and go, I know everything. I don't need to learn anymore. So I always encourage that when I teach young girls, like you can always learn. I don't know, am I getting off on a tangent? Did I answer the question of how I switched? So it's very funny. I went, there's, Vista Print. I got business cards. I took my little kit. I dressed nice. And I was so used to pounding the pavement. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do it for makeup. So I went into every hotel where they had spas or salons and the theater productions and then the TV. And on the other end, behind the scenes, do you guys need a makeup artist? I had a nice outfit on. I, looked the part. I think also just being a nice human and making eye contact and being slightly normal, I guess. And just
Yes.
my, all the networking and contacts and hustling I did as an actor, I put those skills to use for makeup. And that's where my trajectory just took off. And so I thought, this is where I'm supposed to be because I love being in the entertainment industry, but I love being behind the scenes and watching the magic and being a part of it.
Love it, Amanda. First of all, thank you so much for taking us to the overview of, how things kind of change for you. And your passion comes through your words, through your excitement, the way you speak, and definitely feel that what you say is what you mean and that you have lived every bit of it. Two very interesting things that before we move on, I want to kind of highlight to our listeners who are glued to us so far. I would say that, one thing that you could have seen in Amanda is that the attitude of learning. Even with such great experience in the past couple of, I would say, 2 decades, as she's saying. And before that, even she was also kind of, she's had considerable time working and being an actor, being on stage, being a singer, that she still loves to learn. And, we can see the addiction that you have with this profession. So you definitely are in the right profession. But what I think the listeners should kind of take away from this is that if you find that thing that kind of really have the joy of doing it, life, I wouldn't say it becomes easier to do things. The challenges are always there, but you have an internal drive to make things work, and you see difficulties, roadblocks as challenges and opportunities that you can, get yourself better. So, Amanda, we are going to go a little back in this an amazing journey because we're going to break few things up because there's some pearls of wisdom for our listeners today, okay? Because they're also kind of in a way they're trying to kind of understand, oh, this is what I want to do. No, maybe not. This is not what I don't want to do. Maybe this is what I like. Sometimes you're so confused because at this point of time we have a lot of choices, okay? So let's go to the phase where you had just started going out for your auditions for being an actor, and you were still figuring that out before you actually recognize what your passion is. What was that phase? If you can maybe take us in that, bring us 2-3 points where how you felt doing that, what made you feel, oh, this is not what I'm very passionate about, and how did you deal with that it's okay that I don't want to do this, but maybe something else? So if you can maybe take us through that, our listeners, through that.
Sure. I think, it all looks fun on the outside, right? So I did a lot of comedy too. So we're making people laugh. We're singing. We're bringing them an emotion. These things are all about connecting with an audience, connecting with the person on stage, and also fulfilling our passion. So it should be all going like this. Like it's this motion of encompassing all of us. I think something that is very, very tough, and with any profession, a doctor, a lawyer, entertainment industry, anything, that there's a level of competition, which is healthy. You have to have it. You have to be able to compete. But I don't think you need to not be proud of the person you are, do something a little shady or do something to get the job or push them out of the way. And there's a lot of that in the business. And that's something I never wanted a part of. I don't think I could sleep at night if I said, oh, said this, so they didn't get the part. That's just not me. And that's not how I was raised. And I think you stay true to yourself, but there are so many people out there who are going to do these things of, just trying to take someone else down. That takes a long time to build up that confidence. And I always feel that people who do that, they've been hurt before. It's insecurity. But if you're confident, you want to help other people. And my husband and I were both actors, and we would say, if we're in the audition line, and before we even knew each other, if someone didn't have the script, and we say, oh, we're all holding this. Oh my gosh, I hope I get this right. They're like, you have a script? I didn't know we had one. So we'd say, oh, borrow mine. Because that's not going to make me not get the job. And I think it's paying it forward and just being a nice human. And so I think after a while, so to get back to your question, again, pounding the pavement, you're going. It didn't fulfill me the way I was hoping it would after a while. Love that communication with people and creating. And I thought to myself, I don't want to wait to, and that's something I say all the time. I might get a t-shirt that says it. I might do like iron-ons or order it from Etsy, but I don't want to wait to create, right? So hashtag to myself, but I don't want to wait. So that's why I took it into my own hands. And I thought, I want to do something that I'm in control of. Obviously, you have different jobs. You have bosses and you have overhead. You work for a company, corporate. And I always came back to working for myself because I can choose the people around me who are kind and interesting and have fun. We're not doing heart surgery. No one's going to die on our table, right? So let's keep that in mind. So when I transferred from, and I've said this a lot before, when I transferred from entertainment to beauty, it was uglier than you could ever imagine, which was shocking to me. So I thought, well, I've been in the acting industry for a long time. So it's very interesting that, again, I thought, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to surround myself with people like that. So when I talk to young people, I'm like, if someone's trying to undercut you or make you feel bad about yourself, do not let that get in your head because it's hard to get out. I had to struggle with it all the time. Be true to who you are, surround yourself with good family, good friends, a good partner. So I then chose again, okay, after all these jobs, I'm doing makeup, I'm climbing that ladder, kept getting back off to do it on my own, to accept the jobs I want to accept and work with the people and create with amazing videographers, photographers, wardrobe stylists, hairstylists. So we're creating little posses where we go do amazing photo shoots and we create, and we don't even know what time it is. If we've eaten or had water, we're having so much fun. And that, I think, is the thing I could finally, it sounds weird to say control, but you want to be like, I want to be in control of my life somewhat. There's so many things we can't control, but I will continue to do what I love and make the right choices. And after 20 years, if you see a red flag or you have a gut instinct, listen to it. Because you're like, oh, well, maybe, no. Listen to it. The intuition's always right.
This is so powerful, Amanda. This is so powerful. Listening to your gut feeling, listening to your intuition, and we somehow, as life progresses, we do develop. We've always had that. It's just that we become more aware of these intuitions, and this. I think the third part of it is to actually start believing in them. So it's really amazing that you have lived that kind of experiences. That now you are at a stage where you know what your gut is saying, you know what your intuition is saying, you can see the red flags, and you know which way to go, and you have the courage to go to the way that you go. I like to kind of highlight a few things that you mentioned in your journey, that something did not feel right, it did not align with you while you were trying your hands with acting, you loved it, but there's also a very important factor is the kind of people that you're surrounded with, as you very rightly mentioned, that what is the way of getting things done that you're doing, and each their own. And I think you knew who you are, you knew what your values are and what you wanted, and it is, I would say, a really big decision, even at that point in time, to say, okay, no, not this, something else that really excites me. That is actually a big decision and scary, because all your life you've been thinking, this is what I want to do, but having that realization and taking a quick is not easy, and you did that. So kudos to you for that, Amanda. And the second thing that you mentioned was that you just started working in the makeup industry, and after a point in time that you realized, no, it's becoming, again, it's not what I would say I can align with people, and then you went on your own. So before you went on your own, I want to come back to this space, because I feel that we might get a lot of learnings for our listeners today, that while you were doing what you really loved, your passion, being a makeup artist, how did you navigate your way around those few years that, okay, this is what I love, but still it's not working out? How did you get the courage to say that, okay, I'm going to do this my way? How did you do all that?
I think because I'm not afraid to fail. And even if well, let's say I wanted to go to nursing school and I wanted to do it, maybe it wasn't for me. I'd rather have tried that and failed, other than someday going, wonder what would have happened if I went fully to do makeup. I wonder what would have happened if that, to me, would be horrible. So again, rejection rolls off our back, right? When we're in this industry, we have a tough, thick skin, and we kind of lead with our heart and lead with kindness, and you get smarter by the day. You pick up on things, but not afraid to fail. And I thought, I'll always land on my feet. I don't know what that means, but I just thought it's not an option to be stuck in something I don't want to do. And I think there are these people, we're go-getters, we're hardworking, we're hustling, and that word gets a bad rap, but I always think you have to keep that hustle. It's not a bad word. It just means no one's going to come knocking on your door saying, do you want a job doing something you love? Would you like me to pay you to do that? So it's up to us to surround ourselves with good people. And also, even if there are negative people in our world, we're still going to learn from that and go, oh, okay, I don't want to do that. Or I'll take something. I mean, we're going to learn along the way all the time. And every time I thought I'd be too scared to make that jump to go back to working on my own and owning my own beauty business, when I did, I thought, oh, thank God. My shoulders went down. I slept well. I woke up happy. So your body is always telling you, and again, that's a great thing about getting older. Yes, we're going to have wrinkles and our knees are going to hurt and all those things, but I actually am enjoying it because I know what I will do, what I won't do, what I will put up with, what I won't. And your circle does get smaller, but it's awesome because you try your best to have like a bubble of just good people, and personally and professionally.
Love that, Amanda. Thank you so much for taking us through your journey. And I think as we come to the close of the amazing journey that we have lived with you so far, I do have a few last questions to kind of
Yeah.
see the entire thing coming together. Oh wow, that looks amazing on you.
I have like 90 pairs to go with every outfit. I love them.
Wow.
They're like a
I
pair
think you
of
should do
earrings
your.
for readers.
How about you? How about you do your 90 pair of glasses photo shoot for yourself for like each day, like you said?
I will. I'll pretend I'm
That would look
working and
amazing.
talk.
Awesome. So, just on that note, Amanda, when you mentioned something when you started off your own business that was extremely scary, but your body tells you, that this is okay, this is safe, this is what I want to do. Uh, and this is all about, listening to your own voice, having conviction. And I can see throughout your journey that you did have the conviction. And I think you've done one of the most challenging things, which is to steer the direction of your career while knowing that this is your passion, but maybe this is not the space for that passion to grow in. There's another space for that. And you always had that vision or that, awareness that you can make something out of what you know, which you said that why wait to create, which is extremely important to understand, so when you started off your own business, which you are into, you help people, you teach them personalized makeup, skincare lessons, you do it on your through your Instagram, but also kind of, going ahead and doing a lot of your own stuff with TV shows, for films, fashions, red carpet, everywhere. What were the top three challenges when you had just begin with your entrepreneurial, your business venture? If you can share that with our audience, it's for everyone to kind of, for listeners, not just in the sense of being an entrepreneur or a business person, as I said, to each their own, but it's about starting something. Even if you're passionate about something, that you are naturally good at it, you always need to learn a lot of things to be an expert. So what was your three challenges, if you can share with our listeners?
I would say the top one that comes to my mind, first and foremost, is to have a balance. And people love to say that word. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I can definitely be a bit of a workaholic. I love what I do. But if we don't give our brain time to rest, to sleep, to take care of ourselves, we're like a car. We have to fill it with really good gas. We have to spin the tires, like do all the things to take care of ourselves and get clarity, mental health, make sure we're just taking time to enjoy daily things. I'm still saying that to myself every day, to not get so like I could be doing emails until midnight every night and then wake up and think I need to do this. Not that it's terrible, but I need to make sure I have time for myself and my husband and just my dogs, and make sure you have that balance. And every year I'm like, okay, I'm slowly understanding what that means. And so time is a big one. As far as something else that I had to struggle with was in my profession was knowing skin. And I think it's something that I always really push for the younger girls that I teach, where you can have all the makeup in the world, be the most amazing makeup artist, and it can be so expensive and fabulous. You can charge them thousands. But if the skin doesn't look good, the makeup doesn't look good. So went back to esthetician school years after I'd been doing makeup to learn more about skin. I do not like school. I did not want to go back and learn and take tests. I felt like I was a chemist. But I did it and I just plowed through. And then I felt like, okay, and now I have a degree, because a lot of times you don't have a degree when it comes to makeup. Cosmetology for hair, absolutely. But I'm self taught. So I got my license and the degree. And then I felt more confident, because you don't know what skin tone, what skin type, how their skin condition is, and their personalities. So I think at first you have to really, let's say again, if you're a lawyer and you're having a meeting with someone, we're getting off of skin now. You're not going to look at the lawyer's skin, but well, maybe we will. But I think adapting to people and adapting to what they want. And I always say this: basic good human skills, talking to one another, listening, is something that will set you apart. And I think communication is everything with your client, with the people who work with you, work for you. See yourself more as equals, other than I'm the boss, I'll tell you what to do. I think that's just a better mindset. You have to be strong and, have these tools, run a successful business, but don't stop being a real human who has feelings and is honest about things. Did I say three things? Did I give you
I
three
think you've
things?
said, yes, you did. And I was going to say that there's so much in-depth experience that, I can understand that where you're coming from, because all that you're saying is, it kind of resonates so much. And also it enlightens a lot of us, that what are the real crux that will set you apart as a business person or even as an individual, and those are some really interesting, important life lessons that you are just giving us, not just business lessons. So thank you so much, Amanda. That is so beautiful. And as I said at the start of the episode of a chat, that I love the energy that you have, because I think the reason that you have that energy and the joy that we can see is because you really are living the life that you want to, or you are kind of doing what you really are passionate about, you really love, and you really want to keep growing. You have no qualms about, that I'm the one, that I have to be ahead of the race. And I think that is one thing I feel, that why you are happy the way that you are, because you're not comparing yourself, you're kind of creating your own kingdom, and you've understood the very important basics of having the right people around you and doing things your way, the right way, that kind of really makes things fall into your plate and look really shiny because you are the one who's creating it with much love and joy. So thank you so much, Amanda.
I'm
Please
just
go
going to
on.
say that reminded me of something to say to add to whoever's listening is that, again, comparing ourselves, there's going to be people more successful than you, better than you, not as successful. Well, look, there's always going to be better and worse in the middle. Don't pay attention to be who you are because we don't really have another choice. So you're right. Don't listen to all the negative. Just be you, as silly and easy as that sounds.
Absolutely. And as I always request my guest speakers to leave our listeners with a quote or a saying that they really resonate with.
My gosh. Okay. I usually say things like fake it till you make it. If someone asks you to do something, yes, I can do that. Just say yes. You're going to learn on the job. Take a leap. Do not be afraid to fail. Make your own happiness and hashtag don't wait to create. That's what I'd say.
Lovely, lovely. Do not wait to create. I just love that. Thank you so much, Amanda, for being on my first step ever. I know for everyone who's glued to us, you got more than the makeup lesson, skincare, and makeup tips today, which was more about the life lessons and the person and the character that you built. So, Amanda, that's amazing. It was such a sheer pleasure to speak with you. You bring such great warmth. I loved having this chat with you and understanding your journey. You've been so honest, I can say that, and you've added so much value in the conversation. I will leave all the links in the show notes for if you want to check out about Amanda and her work. And I know that all you guys would love to listen a lot about the makeup tips and skincare lessons. So thank you, Amanda, for being on my first step ever.